Mary, I'm aware you're a big enthusiast of Pesso Boyden
Oh,
art
yes.
therapy,
Yeah.
to the extent that you've even trained to be a practitioner.
I
Will
have.
you please say a
Yeah.
few words about what drew you so much to this work?
So I think, well, it was experience really, and so working with you as a therapist, but I'd been in the therapy for years, trying to trying to get free of a relationship that wasn't working for me, but I couldn't seem to escape from it. And you, I think, had been training as well in Peso, and you said, let's try something. And we tried it, and it had such a profound effect on me. I thought, I have to do more of this. And so I went, and I had more Pesso Boyden therapy. And then, because I was a trainee therapist at the time, I just thought, I have to have this tool, I have to have the ability to offer this as well, because it was so powerful for me. And I think I wanted to tell you a wee story about
Yeah.
to illustrate how it works. And so I was interrailing when I was about 17, 18 with a friend, and we ended up in Rome after a long overnight train journey. And I was so hot and so miserable and thirsty and hungry. And we went out onto the station concourse, and there was a man with a big oil drum full of watermelons. And there was a hose going into it, and it was these watermelons were sitting in cold, cold water, and he was cutting them into wedges and selling wedges. And my friend said, "Oh, watermelon, you have to try this." And I said, "Well, I don't know. I'd never tasted watermelon. I had no idea what it tasted like. And my experience of other types of melon didn't convince me that this was going to be the answer to my problem because I was so thirsty." And she said, "No, really, you'll love it." And I tried it. And I remember, so we're going back more than 40 years now. I remember the moment I bit into the watermelon and tasted the water, the sweet juice, and the texture of biting into it, the coldness, how refreshing it was. I remember every moment of that first mouthful of watermelon. But a few minutes earlier, I had no idea what that was like. And I couldn't think about it and I couldn't enjoy it. I couldn't enjoy the experience of watermelon. And now, when I think back to the moment when I first tasted the watermelon, I remember the sheer relief of that lovely, refreshing fruit. I remember it now and I can re experience it. And for me, that's what Peso does. If you haven't experienced something, so for me, my mother was not openly affectionate, so I didn't know I was loved, and I believed deeply and had believed, I think, from my earliest moments that I wasn't lovable. And I didn't, mostly when we're working as therapists, we're helping people find experiences, resources that they have inside themselves that they're forgotten about or that are sitting in their unconscious mind and that they can then use in their active life, in their conscious lives. So we're just helping people explore the things they have within them. But if you haven't ever experienced love, unconditional maternal love, what it's like simply to be loved because you are you, it's very hard to believe you're lovable. And that was my experience. And so with Peso, I experienced for the first time what it was like to be held by my ideal mother. Simply held until I fell asleep. I didn't have to do anything. I didn't have to be anything. I didn't have to please her. I didn't have to earn her love. I could simply be held and loved. And now I know what that feels like. I know what that feels like. And it allows me to love myself in a way I couldn't before. No amount of talking and thinking about it and rationalizing, well, I'm a good person, I'm a kind person, I'm a nice person, I'm all sorts of things, I must be lovable. When actually there's a little voice inside me said, that's a lie. you're not lovable. And now I am lovable. And that's what Pesso did for me. And it is moving. It's beautiful. And I that's why I want to share it. Because to have that transformation, I can't actually be the person I was. I can't be the sad, desperate person I was who was screaming at this man who was really unhelpful in my life. The inside of me was screaming, love me because I need to be loved. I don't feel that need anymore. It simply isn't there. I am content.
Thank you so much, Mary. It's such a beautiful analogy with the watermelon, and so moving. And every time I hear a Pesso Boyden healing story, it moves me to tears, or almost to tears. It's
Well, I can feel very emotional.
yeah,
I'm trying
yeah,
not to
yeah.
to keep calm, but it's. I would shout it from the rooftops if I could.
And as you're trained as a practitioner now, and I know you've been trained in
Yes, qualified recently.
psychotherapy, yeah. So you're familiar with other therapeutic approaches. What do you think makes it different? How is it that it can achieve what it achieves?
Because, well, I think there are several things. I think that if you work in groups of people, you're able to experience a very rich physical as well as emotional, imaginative experience. You can actually feel your body relax and relax into a human embrace, and it's very rich experience that what it's creating a memory of an experience that then you can return to over and over again.
So it's an embodied
experience, and I think that richness. I mean, in one of my therapy sessions, I was lying in the arms of my ideal mother. So this was a person in the group who represented my ideal mother. But all I remember of that, I remember the feeling of it, but I remember the smell of freshly ironed linen. And it's that smell for me evokes, it's a very old smell that goes right back to my youth. And so there's those opportunities for really rich experiences of hearing a person say, you are precious, you are loved. And seeing someone look at you with eyes filled with love, those are very powerful experiences that I think no amount of talking therapy, of simply talking about what it might be like, or, just imagining it, can really capture. Does that make sense?
It makes perfect sense, and I absolutely agree with you. It's really good to hear your take on it. Thank you.
Well,
thank you so much.